The first one is absolutely title sponsor. Really, without a title sponsor, you could not put on a golf tournament. They are the driving force, not only in vision, but also financials. And having a title sponsor as the United Nation, it's certainly special for an LPGA event to have them as a title sponsor, because they really embrace their culture and their history. And as the managing partner of this event, what we like to do is really try to install as much of that and incorporate as much of that into the event as possible. Number two would be volunteers. And the reason they're number two is because they truly are the backbone of any event. You cannot execute this without volunteers. We have about 550 to 600 that are mandated to be here in order for this tournament to succeed. And we've got 20 different volunteer committees, and that goes from player transportation all the way to marshaling to scoring control, even walking standards that are out there carrying the sign with all the players' names and scores on it. Every single one of our volunteers is very special to this golf tournament, and we make sure that we take as good as care of them as we can, because they are the backbone, and we could not be as successful as we are without them. Number three would be your local sponsors, your ancillary sponsors. Prevea Health is one of our largest, is our largest sponsor outside of title, and Dr. Rai is a great partner to the tournament and the United Nation. A couple new sponsors this year. We have Festival Foods, who is the presenting sponsor of our party deck out on 17. We did also sign a new official beverage with Badger State this year. In addition to those three, I could go on. We've got the Oneida OESC, who sponsors our Military and Veterans Pavilion. We've got North Star Mohican Casino, the Greater Green Bay CVB, Cellcom. I know I'm going to miss some, Bay Bank. We've got such great community support here for this golf tournament, and that's what really helps keep this event here. Number four would be logistics. It's what keeps us up at night. Just making sure that it's, once we have those initial visits with our title sponsor and some of our other managing partners, is you get out to the golf tournament, you do a site survey, you really take a look at the 10,000-foot view of how we can build this thing out to be the best golf tournament that we could possibly have it be. And that's just looking at where you may be able to fit a hospitality structure, you might be able to fit a grandstand, and if you could put something there, how does it look when you build it out? Once you have that picture painted, then when you get more into the details of where do we park, how do we get them here, where do we put the restrooms, where do we put the concession stands, you start to paint in those details as you get a more, as you kind of move forward with the event and get a better idea of how things are going to flow. On which tees are we playing, and we work with the LPGA to figure out the yardage that they're going to play from, and how do we get them from green to tee. There's a lot of logistics that kind of go in behind the scenes of pre-planning the event. As things kind of come to fruition and you're locating scoreboards and restrooms, and you're building out your course map and your site map, then you can kind of do the fine-tunings of bringing in vendors and making sure that we've got acclaimed vendors who can build grandstands, who can build structures, and making sure, working with the city to make sure all of our permits are up to code and all the buildings are up to code. But our build is about 3.5 weeks long leading into the golf tournament, and then the strikes are probably another 1.5 to 2 weeks until everything's cleared out of here. So the last one would be players, and with this being a professional women's golf tournament, you can't do it without the ladies. So last year in 2017, we were in an interesting position as an inaugural event where we were right in between two majors. We have the highest purse for a non-major at $2 million, which we felt would entice the players, being so close to Chicago, the KPMG, which precedes us, where the players would actually see the benefit of coming up here. So that was our intent. In 2017, we certainly had a fantastic field, but it could have been stronger. Catherine Kirk could not have asked for a better champion. Catherine is a phenomenal human being, and she is just a great person to be around. And if you've ever interacted with her, you know exactly what I'm talking about. She's a great ambassador for the game, and we're certainly happy to have her back here and to see if she can defend her title successfully. But we've added some big names to the field this year, and Lydia Ko and Danielle Kang. and bringing in some additional major champions, which certainly helps grow the game here and further establishes our spot on the tour for years moving forward. Is as we bring these top names in, they'll see the growth, they'll see the golf course, they'll talk, and they'll bring in more and more and more. So certainly our intent is to continue to grow this tournament into being one of the more popular stops on tour.